Okay, hi everyone. So I'm Jasmine and I'm the Events and Communications Administrator at One Nucleus. And I'm delighted to be joined today by Lucy Pepperell. And we're going to be talking a little bit about Lucy's career today and how she got to her role currently at Astrea Bioseparations. So this is to form part of our Conversations in Careers series, which we started last year as part of our Building Life Science Adventures Careers Conference. So I'm kind of looking forward to talking a little bit about Lucy's role and how she got there. So I'm going to hand you over to Lucy now, and she's going to introduce herself and tell you a little bit about what she does.
Cool, thanks Jasmine. Hi, I'm Lucy. I'm an Associate Product Manager at Astrea Bioseparations, based in Cambridge, and I've only been in my role for a couple of months, but I've been with the company for quite a while. So.
Amazing. So can you tell me a little bit about the role that you're doing at the moment and what it involves?
Yeah, so I'm now involved in product management, which is kind of the area between commercial and R&D, and it's quite an influential role. So it influences what R&D work on and the company product portfolio as well. It's based a lot on background research, market needs. It's very interesting. It's very insightful.
Amazing. So you also mentioned that you've been with Astrea for a long time now. Can you tell me how your journey started and the roles that you've had along the way?
Yeah, so I started at Astrea straight out of uni. I started on a temporary contract as a research assistant in the lab. And from there, it's kind of just progressed. So it progressed into a permanent role, and then I worked my way up through various positions, lab-based positions, up to a senior research scientist. And throughout my sort of career in the lab, I was involved in not only in the R&D side of things, but also had involvement in like tech transfer and also in some of the manufacturing. And there was brief spells of leadership roles as well. And yeah, so after about 8.5 years, I've moved into product management.
Wow. So is the current position that you're in now somewhere that you knew you always wanted to be?
No, it's not. So I always knew that I wouldn't always be in the lab. You know, I love being in the lab. It was great, but I knew that, you know, in 10 years' time, I probably wouldn't still be there. And product management wasn't something I'd ever considered, but then an opportunity came up and I went for it. So
amazing. And the industry itself, so did you always know that you wanted to work in life sciences, or did you consider any other kind of industries? Or
yeah, so I was always really interested in science when I was younger, when I was at school, and my degree was in science, so I always kind of knew that that was the area I wanted to be in. Specifically, sort of what I do now, I didn't know. I kind of just wanted to get my foot in the door initially, and get that experience behind me. But yeah, I really enjoy it. So.
amazing. It's nice as well that you've been able to be in this environment at Astrea and be able to progress through so many different roles, because that isn't always the case. So I think that's amazing. So if we have a little conversation about your when you were at university, what did you study?
Yeah, so I went to, it's now Leeds Beckett University, and I studied biomedical science. There was a heavy focus on pharmacology, and I always thought that sort of drug development, that kind of thing, would be what I would be doing. And in a way, you know, it's all related, so I've not steered too far from it. But yeah, I considered going further and doing like an MPhil or PhD, but I found that a lot of places, like, experience seemed to be necessary, and I didn't have any. So I thought I'd get some experience, hence the temporary role, whilst considering what to do next. But then I just never went back to academia. So.
Cool. So throughout your career journey, have there been any kind of challenges that you've faced along the way?
I wouldn't say I've particularly faced any challenges as such. I think, especially in more junior roles, you or I felt that I didn't have as much of a voice. and it very much felt that you were kind of there to do work and then go home again. But that wasn't really the case, I don't think. And especially, you know, as you move through to more senior roles, you realise that that's not the case at all. But yeah, I think it probably came down more to being new in the industry, you know, walking bright-eyed straight out of uni into the world of work.
Yeah.
And you can sometimes feel like you should be grateful to be there, but it's not the case at all. So.
What was that transition like then when you went from university into your first role? Was that quite a scary jump? Was it
Yeah, it wasn't so scary. It felt big because it was like first proper job.
Yeah.
You know, throughout university, had odd jobs here and there, which in a way do prepare you for the workplace. So, you know, you've already got that sense of being part of a team, working towards a common goal, and things like that. And, you know, the first day of like your first proper job feels like your first day of school. You know, it was nerve-wracking, and you're walking into a completely different place to what you've ever been before. But again, there was absolutely no need to be nervous or scared, but I think everyone is.
So based on your experiences, can you kind of give me some maybe key things that you've learned throughout your career?
Yeah, I would say that a big thing is don't be afraid to ask questions. So I think a lot of people don't want to appear that they don't know, so they just stay quiet. And no one thinks badly of you if you ask questions, you know, and you don't want to leave it too late either. You don't want to like leave a meeting or something and just be wondering, oh, I wonder what the answer to that was, because it could really help you out. So yeah, so definitely don't be afraid to ask questions. And I think being confident is another thing as well. It can feel really daunting, especially walking into like your first job or first day of a new role even, you know. But yeah, just be confident. You're there for a reason. So
amazing. That's some really nice advice. So if you were to go back to being an early career seeker, is there anything that you think you would do differently?
Be more confident and ask more questions. Yeah, I think definitely the ask more questions, you know, walking straight into your first job, you do have a sense of kind of, I'm lucky to be here. And it's not true, you know, they wanted you, that's why they gave you the job. So don't be afraid to question or challenge things in a professional way, because it can really help you out. So
amazing. And so Astrea at the moment is obviously growing. It's a fantastic organization. And there's lots and lots of career opportunities available. So I would definitely recommend anybody who's watching this today, who is an early career seeker, to maybe go and check out the kind of opportunities there are available. Thank you, Lucy, so much for taking the time today. It's been a pleasure to kind of talk to you about your career. And I hope that those of you that are watching enjoyed it too.
Thank you very much.